Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blossoming Marriage Academy, an initiative of Royal Life Springs. And Royal Life Springs is an organization whose members are passionate about empowering marriages and families to thrive and to blossom. My name is Jacinta Nje here, a marriage and family therapist. And today we are very, very honored to have with us Edna. This young girl you see here, I am qualified to call her a young girl, to be with us to discuss something so important in marriage. Edna, please introduce yourselves to our viewers.
Thank you. I acknowledge the young girl title on your behalf, or at least in your regard. We also call you Mom Jacinta. Yeah, it's a true honor to be here today. My name is actually Edna Chawia. I'm a psychologist by profession. I do a lot of work with couples and married people working through their issues. I am also a member of Royal Life Springs, and I am truly happy and honored to be able to share and have this discussion with you today.
Thank you, Edna. Okay. Wow, I'm excited. The topic of today is a topic that is hot. Is sex important in marriage, Edna? Tell me. Is it important?
Is sex important in marriage? It's the only reason we leave our father's houses.
The only reason?
It's the main reason we leave our father's houses, because the truth is, every other thing you can do in your father's house. You can earn a living in your father's house. Yeah, basically. But if you're going to leave and get married, the reason why you get your own place, one of the big reasons is to be able to freely have sex.
I hear you.
Enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Possibly then raise children, because children could also be raised at home if we wanted.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think sex is indeed an important part of marriage.
There's a lot of talk about sex today, and I think also as a practicing psychologist, you get to hear these things in therapy. Now, for young couples, and we are talking about couples with young children, that sometimes can be a challenge. I am curious, how can we, what is it that they can do to make sure that their sex life is alive? I'm saying this because a young mother is very busy taking care of babies, breastfeeding, sometimes not having time for themselves. What is it that a young couple can do to make sure that this area is alive and not neglected because of the phase that they are in, taking care of young children? Yes.
I think one of the first things that maybe try and normalize, it's not strange. If you're young, you have children, and you're struggling as a couple, it's not a strange thing. It's a normal thing that has happened to women and men for years, Even our grandparents must have struggled at some point. They have, the advantage they may have had is being able to get more and more spouses along the way, which is not a luxury for most of the people who decide to get into monogamous relationships. Yeah. So I think first and foremost, realize you're not strange for feeling that way. So then the other thing you can do, once you acknowledge something, then you can take ownership for it. You may need to find a way to delight in your sexual lives. How do you delight in something? Can you at least have a conversation with each other?
Yes.
About where your struggles are? Are you able to look as a husband and a wife? Are you able to sit down with each other and say,
and talk about sex? And that is a very important aspect, because sometimes because of our bringing, these things like sex were not openly discussed. So you find that even a young couple, if they are struggling, maybe one party doesn't want to talk about it. So you bring an important aspect, talk about it, discuss, maybe also let the other person know how. There's a lot of programs also about sex.
Yeah.
People being taught how to do these things.
Yes. Or how to navigate.
What would you say to a young couple? I'm just curious. Can you teach each other how to enjoy, to give each other pleasure? Because maybe we all know we react differently. And maybe what is being said, some people get turned on maybe by being touched by different things. So what would you say to a young couple, even as they explore this area to make it alive and vibrant? What, even as they discuss about it themselves, just some tips on that.
Okay. So I think big would be really communicate about it.
Yes.
And be willing to learn.
That's right.
Demystify this whole thing of a lady can't tell you what they like. And if a man knows too much, he must have extreme or extra experience.
Or even a lady.
Or even a lady.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, if it's something that you have a license to do, why not find out everything you need to find out to be able to do it right?
To improve on it, yes.
To be able to improve on it.
Yes.
And you don't also have to go to people who don't necessarily share your values to learn these things.
Yes.
You can always get someone who shares similar values with you.
Yes.
To be able to teach you what are some of the things you'd look out for. What are some of the things you can do to enrich your sexual experience.
That's right.
I think one of the things that really makes relationships suffer, even when we talk about just sex, is the inability to talk about things.
You're right.
And then something else that I think I could also point out, I think society also sets us up.
Can you explain that?
Yeah. In most bridal showers, girls are told what to do to please their men. So you see, unconsciously, that also creates the narrative sex is a chore.
It's not something pleasurable or something you explore together.
No, it's not something. Girls are not necessarily taught it's something pleasurable that you explore together. You're taught more of it's something you need to do for him,
for your husband,
and things like that.
So, you do for him, so you are not in it together.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's not for me. It's basically just for him.
Yes.
So for as long as I can meet his needs and do this for him, I am able to keep him. But you see, I get married to him, but he's not the only one who's married. I am also married.
You also need to derive the same pleasure.
Exactly.
Yes.
I would also need to derive the same pleasure from a sexual experience.
Yes.
You see, and in all honesty, I don't know. I look forward to hearing men share with us, apart from a lot of their street discussion on sexuality. I don't know if anyone talks to them about pleasing their wives.
And that's a good one, because the other misconception as you speak, what is coming to mind is that until maybe recently, a woman wasn't free to initiate sex. And maybe that comes to what you have said, it was a chore I do to my husband, not something for me to enjoy.
Yeah.
So how is that like today? I mean, especially among the young couple. How free are women to initiate sex with their husbands?
Actually, I think more and more women are beginning to embrace their space within sexuality and issues of sex.
Yes.
If anything, we would think as you grow older, you would wonder whose libido is higher.
I think the women.
I know, yeah. A woman's libido goes higher. A man's drive and passions are different. So for some reason, and they also, I think this may not be necessarily based on any study, but it's a sweet opinion based on our experience talking with clients and all.
Yes.
The older women grow, their libido actually goes up.
That's right.
And for most of the men, they get more tired, become more focused at work. And unfortunately, also because of the way they may have been ignored earlier in the relationship, they may have formed new bonds with other people out there. So it's easy for them to veer off and be with other people.
And neglect their
spouse.
The older ones.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
So I think I like the fact that women are getting bolder and more willing to initiate. But a part of initiation also comes with initiating sex also comes with self-acceptance.
That's right.
For a long time, women have depended on men to validate them, remind them of how beautiful they are,
how valuable
they are.
Yes.
So naturally, it becomes hard, and a common sentiment we hear from women when the men don't ask for sex is, he doesn't want me, and that's a very frustrating
And he could be waiting also.
And he could also be
expecting you to initiate
Exactly.
Yes.
So he could also be expecting the same, but you're waiting because you were taught that when a man wants you, he'll go for you, etc. But I like the fact that ladies are becoming bolder.
More bolder.
Yes. And they're more willing to try. they may take a while. Maybe our children will do a better job because they are walking a path they have not been familiar with.
That's right.
So there's a learning curve naturally. So they may try once. If they're rejected, they may never try again.
I know.
Or for those who are willing to try,
those who do not give up will keep trying until they perfect that.
They try until they perfect it. Yes.
Yes. Now that our concentration is really sex amongst young couples, what's going on in my mind is like the chores also. You see, sometimes this sex is hindered by relationship issues. Communication, you brought it up, is important. But I'm also thinking, I am tired, I am busy, and wondering, because somebody said once that wanting to have sex with your wife in the evening, if you haven't done anything about the relationship, is like signing a blank letter. And so what comes to mind is, are you helping out your wife with the chores? Are you free enough to tell her? Sometimes even a wife can be neglectful. I have breast milk. I might even not think about how I look. So I'm wondering, how can we help each other so that the chores are not overwhelming me, and also I'm still taking care that I'm still looking attractive, because that is also part of this attraction that leads to sex.
I think I love where you're going with this. I think one of the things that would make it possible for that aspect to work is being intentional.
Yes.
Really. You cannot be married to someone. You come from work at 5, now that we've even had curfew and all in the recent past, or
work at 7. Home,
or you both work at home.
Yes.
You've been on your laptop the whole day.
Yes.
You're getting?
Yes.
They have been on their laptop because they're also working. Then they had to get off and go and breastfeed a child.
Yes.
And go wash dishes and go cook food and things like that. And when you stopped working, you went and ate food and showered, and you're waiting in bed. And they have to clear the dishes and set up everything for the following day.
Yes.
And then get to shower and then come to bed and actually be able to be in their A game. Honestly speaking, that is impossible. I know there are women who've tried it. I know there are people who've done it for years. People have done that. But in all honesty, if you care about your spouse, like you'd want them to care about you, if you'd want to have good sex where you enjoy each other's bodies and you enjoy the interaction with each other, and you take time to actually stimulate each other, you both need the energy to do that.
That's right. Yes.
Just the same way a man would not come home and not get food and not be able to get even water for showering, be able to do nothing basically, and they're expected to still go out of their way to stimulate and prepare their partner for the same sexual experience. It becomes a challenge.
Yes.
So I think a couple would need to be very intentional. Yes, in their interaction with each other. We want to enjoy our evening, not together. I want you to give me. Si leo unanipea. No.
Tunapeana.
Leo tunapeana. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Tunapatiana. It's not about me giving you or you giving me. It's about both of us enjoying something intimate.
That's right.
That actually bonds us and enriches our relationship.
Yes.
If you think of it that way, you see your spouse not having food to eat, you'll be happy to make that meal. You see your spouse washing dishes at night,
you'll be happy to help.
You'll be happy to assist.
That's
because you're thinking of their need as well as yours, and not just your need. So I think intentionality would be a key part of every young couple's sexual relationship. For it to be pleasurable. Yes,
I hear you. The other thing is, somebody would ask, is it okay to have sex or to be intimate with a baby in the room or with a, for how far can that go? Because these are couples with young children.
I think the age of the baby matters. When they're an infant, that's different.
Yes.
On the other hand, the size of the bed also, I think, could matter, because you cannot be in a 4x6 bed, allow me to say, or a 3x6 bed
and have the
with an infant.
Yeah.
and the baby on the side and do your thing. That can be a little challenging.
That is challenging.
Yeah,
but there could be a baby cot. The baby is
but
there.
if there is, let's be respectful to the baby as well as to ourselves.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because this sex is not about you, your husband, and the baby.
Yes.
As much as I do understand, sometimes in relationships, you may have woken up 10 times in the night and you're so tired. Getting that baby out of your bed is becoming a challenge.
That's
but
right.
let's be considerate.
Yes.
Let's try and play around with the timings. Let's also help each other, because that's part of helping each other. Because a woman doesn't parent alone.
No.
It's
a core thing.
It's a core thing.
You do it together.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it goes back to the basics. What were your basics when you got into this marriage? Did you think that you were getting into a marriage that was ours or mine or for you alone?
That's
because
important.
you took ours to
couple goals.
Home.
You have to have these goals together.
Exactly.
Wow.
You have to have couple goals together and work towards them together as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have places where you can even get trainings about how to work your way around that as well.
You can get help.
Yes, you can.
Interesting. I'm now thinking this sex is important, especially for also young couples. And we could be in a space where we are not able to do this because maybe it could be a one bedroom and our children are there and maybe not only babies. So how can a young couple maneuver? How can they make sure they're still... And I'm asking this because I know of a case that I had many years ago that the wife was packing and going because this was not happening because of the space that they were in. There were relatives. Actually, I think the mother-in-law was visiting and they didn't come up with creative ways of maneuvering that. So what can you say about that when the space does not quite allow because our children are in the same space?
Okay. This would be my encouragement if this is possible for any couple. Because I know even however tight the space is, we have the capacity to separate the side where the spouse sleep and the side where the children sleep. However tight the space may be. I said at the beginning, the one reason we left our parents' houses, one of the main reasons was because of this. In all honesty, it's also a big reason why two people stay together.
That's right.
You're getting
but I'm
able
imagining
to have sex.
Edna, my children are right not there. Babies.
Yes.
In fact, many years when I was working for KCB, somebody was telling us the son was asking her, why do you cry every night? These are the realities. So, yes, I hear you. It's important. And that's why we left our homes.
And I like what you're saying.
Yes.
The son asked, why do you cry all the time?
Yes.
We also have the capacity to be creative.
Okay.
You're getting?
Yes.
We can play around with timings.
Yes.
We don't have to have sex when our children are home.
Night. Yes.
Or it doesn't have to be in the night.
Yes.
We can have sex early in the morning.
Yes.
We can have sex right before, even at lunchtime.
Yes.
You can have a lunch date to have sex. That's not impossible.
Yes.
But you see, the only way to do that is if it was an enjoyable experience.
That's right.
The other thing is we also don't have to make sounds. It's not a have to. In all honesty.
We don't have to.
No, we don't have to.
Yes.
We can have sex without making sounds.
Yes.
So if you know you're in a tight space.
Yes.
I talked about respect.
Yes.
In all honesty, we need to be able to respect our children as well.
That's right.
As we respect each other as well.
Yes.
My son asking me about me screaming at night is uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable conversation.
Yes.
So then let's find a way. There are times when, yes, we may need to do it in the night, have sex in the night, but when we do and the children are home, keep it quiet.
That's right.
I think that's part of being respectful even towards the children.
That's true.
Because it would be weird to make sex sounds with my kids lying. They may even get naughty and come and lift up the sheet.
They start learning things.
Exactly.
Yes. They start even doing it in front of visitors.
And doing it with each other.
Yes.
Because you're their first role model.
That's right.
You see, you model good behavior for your children.
That's right.
So if you cannot... Actually, we've had situations where children have have sat with relatives and even watched pornography on TV, or have even watched their parents have sex and have started having sex with each other. You see,
the thing even about sister and brother,
sisters and brothers have had sex and things like that, which is a whole other ball game. So I think parents need to be a couple, actually, because in that moment they're not just parents, because when they want each other, they're thinking of each other as
animal instinct.
The animal instinct jumps in. But I think they need to also be considerate about where you are. Why don't we have sex on the streets of Nairobi? Despite how badly we may want it. Why don't we have sex anywhere we go? Why don't we have sex in front of a classroom?
That's right.
You get? Because for everything, there's a time and place.
That's right.
So yes, your house is a place, but if your children are there, my encouragement would be, we would need to be respectful to those children. Teach them right.
That's right.
For our families to be able to, and you see, you also can't say don't have sex because you have a small house. No. Because the sex enriches your relationship. It enriches your marriage.
That's right.
So there are ways to learn to work around it. You be creative.
That's right.
And find ways to work through it.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
That would be my take.
That is so important. I think what we are hearing is the importance of sex in a marriage, but we are also hearing that this home environment is a school where we are teaching our children. So in as much as sex is important, we also have to be careful of the generation that we are bringing up. Wow.
And one of the things I love about what you just brought up, about this home being a teaching environment for our children. You even teach your children how to relate with each other. When they are old enough, depending, and you see, there's nothing wrong with normalizing sexuality around your kids.
That when needs to happen
old
also.
Enough, there's nothing wrong, because they will either actually get curious, and depending on the kind of relationship they have with you, they may be bold enough to ask you, Mom, do you have sex with Dad? Or Dad, do you have sex with Mom?
What do you say when they ask you?
I think it would be okay to say yes. Because it's the truth.
You get. Depending on the age, you need to tell them.
Depending on the age, exactly. Depending on the age. Then explain to them the context. You see? Explain to them, yes, we do have sex, and and find out what they know. Before you can give information or surrender information or find out what they know. Ask them, where do you think people have sex? You get?
Where do you think babies come from?
No, before you
go there.
Before even babies, because they've asked you a direct question. Mom, do you have sex with Dad? Yes, I do. Ask, what do they know about sex? Let them give you from their frame of reference what information they already have. And tell them, feel free to ask me any other question you may have.
Wow.
You get? So that you be their first teacher about
instead
issues
of them
sexuality.
Learning from their peers or from other people.
That's the thing. Because if you don't tell them, they will ask a friend. And if you live in a one-roomed house, they will talk about it to somebody else. You see? And it will catch up with you at one point or the other.
Wow, that's awesome. I think sex is a very important aspect of marriage. As a matter of fact, you've said it right. That's what got me and got you from your mother's or your parents' place to where you are today. So we cannot downplay it. And especially also for a young couple, I mean, you're vibrant. At that time, you have all the vigor and the energy. But we are saying we cannot neglect it simply because we have young babies. Maybe what would you want to say to our viewers as we wind up on this session today? This is something that we'll be coming back to often because it's needed. Yes. What?
I think, based on what I have seen over the years, my take would be, sex is a beautiful thing, and it gets better with age.
Wow. Like wine?
Like wine.
Fine wine.
Yes. I think it has the capacity to get better with age.
That's right.
The difference is we begin to focus on other things with age and lose what we originally intended when we were connecting with each other. So my encouragement to everyone would be, as much as possible within your respective relationships, find a way to reignite the fire. Because that is actually possible. And if you need help with doing that, we have web seminars that we
Yes.
actually run
Yes.
that are able to teach you that. We have therapists, we
Yes.
have counseling services. So seek help, because a strong person is not the one who never asks for help, but one who knows when they need help.
Wow.
That would be my take.
Wow, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Edna. Sometimes I like to call you Daktari because I know very soon
Work in progress.
that Daktari is coming.
It's okay.
There you have it. Sex is important for young couples, and you have to be intentional, and you have to be creative, because you don't want to neglect it, because it's a fundamental aspect of your relationship. Now, if you want more as a couple, Blossoming Marriage Academy runs seminars, and sex and others are some of the topics that we take care of in a very experiential way. So I would like to invite you to watch this YouTube channel for information about the session starting in June. So for now, it's me and Edna, Jacinta and Jay here, and Edna signing off. Till next week, God bless and bye-bye.
Thank you.